of life after uni. I remember one lady replied me and said, "Oh, you don't have experience." The fuck? Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for subscribing, guys. Honestly, I can't even explain like how happy I am. But yeah, so since you guys are here and since you guys, you know, want to hear a little bit more from me, I thought I'll do a video just sitting down and talking to you guys about my experience of life after uni. I feel like this is something that a lot of people don't like to talk about, or I don't know, I just feel like a lot of people don't talk about this. But honestly, life after uni is so daunting, and with a lot of people, when they finish uni, they kind of like expect to get a job and then, you know, start working, move out and do all these things. But life doesn't always plan out the way we want it to, right? I feel like people who do medical subjects at uni, it may be easier for them to get a job, like with the NHS, and you know, for doctors they do a lot of work experience, even for nurses as well. Nurses, a lot of people who go to uni and study in the medical field are probably more likely to get a job after uni like quicker compared to other people. So when I finished uni, you know, I got a first class. I was happy. I was like, yes, I can take over the world. Like, to law firms, they're gonna take me because I got a first and it's gonna be great. This reality kicked in and I was like, this is what life is. I don't want to do this anymore. Like, honestly, when I finished uni, I remember when I graduated, I'd already started law school. So after law school, it was kind of like, what now? Like, what am I doing now? And it's like that for a lot of people who have just graduated. So the first things first that I would say is, after uni, just try and get as much experience as you can. I know how hard it can be, trust me. And I remember when I was looking for training contracts, when I was looking for jobs, even just paralegal jobs or legal assistant, legal secretary jobs, I remember one lady replied me and said, "Oh, you don't have experience." The fuck? And I was like, okay. So I replied her saying, how am I supposed to get experience when nobody's gonna give me a job? How? Like, how? Tell me how. Tell me how. You have to think about it this way. These people are paying you to be at your job, so they expect you to at least, you know how to do certain things. And if you don't, if your CV doesn't show that you do, then it's gonna be hard basically to get a job. So first of all, make sure you get experience, any type of experience you can. And I know a lot of people don't want to do voluntary experience, but it's good for you to do, you know, unpaid work. And that's what she suggested to me when I said, you know, it's hard for me to get a job and I can't get. When I messaged her and said to her that, how am I supposed to get a job if no one's going to employ me, she basically said to me, you need to do some unpaid work for you to, you know, have a bit of experience so that you can get a job that does pay. But at that time I was really broke, so I said to her, like, there's no way I can do an unpaid work in London when I live in Kent. So that means I need to be paying for transport from Kent to London every day. I don't have that kind of money. And so imagine, I didn't have a job, I was paying law school, which was really expensive, by the way. I just didn't want to go back to retail because I felt like I might get stuck there. Don't get me wrong, retail is good. Like, I did years of retail while I was at uni, but when I finished uni, I quit retail and I said to myself, like, I don't want to go back to retail. I don't want to get stuck there, because a lot of people do get stuck there and it's not their fault. Sometimes that's just the way that they need to make money in order to make ends meet. So for me, I didn't want to get stuck there. So I was just like, I'm sorry, but I cannot do voluntary work experience right now. I just have to kind of find work experience that will pay. So I don't know, I kind of went through a time of being depressed. I was very, very, very depressed after law school. I felt like, you know, I just felt like there was nothing for me to do, and it was just really, really hard. And I feel like a lot of people go through it. A lot of people go through that moment of depression before they actually get the job that they like. And when I eventually did get something, I got an interview for a training contract, and then I had another interview, which was a group interview, and then I got through to the next stage, which was like a 2-week voluntary experience that I had to do. I didn't get paid for it, and I did that, and putting that on my CV made other people want to employ me. Having done that actually helped me, you know, climb the career ladder that I wanted. So after that, 2 months later, I got another job as a paralegal. So obviously having that on my experience, you know, saying I've done 2 weeks of work experience for a training contract. I didn't get the training contract because I didn't have experience, which was even more mind-blowing. It's like they didn't give me the training contract because I didn't have experience. Really? Like, oh, that really hurt me. I cried. I remember when I got the email, I cried. I was just like, wow, this experience thing is real. So definitely the first thing you need to do is get a good 2 weeks to 2 months worth of work experience if you can. Like, if you can do longer of voluntary work experience, then try and do as much as you can. That's number one. Number two, you need to make sure that your CV is on point. Grammatical errors, spelling errors, all of that cannot be in your CV. Make sure your CV is on point. Let me tell you something, because that CV is basically how they're meeting you, because they don't know what you look like, they don't know how well spoken you are, they don't know what you do. That CV needs to be on point, and it needs to be only 2 pages. If you are a graduate, your CV should not be longer than 2 pages. If it's longer than 2 pages, sis, what are you writing in your CV? Please, I need to understand. Your CV needs to be 2 pages. It needs to be short and sweet. Like, it needs to tell them everything about you in 2 pages. But don't put too many words as well. Like, don't do like a 2-page essay, because some people do that, and I've seen employers when I'm at work be like, why have they written so much? We're not reading that. They're not gonna read it. So your CV needs to be on point. It needs to be, I'll try and put maybe like a blurred version of my CV. It's literally bullet points. So it's like work experience, date of work experience, like 3 or 4 bullet points of what you did. Keep it moving. Next experience. Don't do too much on your CV. Don't start writing stories on your CV. Nobody's gonna read that. Nobody cares. That's just the fact. I know it's brutal, but that's the fact. Nobody cares. It's mad. And also, another number 3, your cover letter needs to be on point. If you are applying for jobs and they've asked you to do a cover letter, make sure your cover letter is on point. It should not be longer than 1 page. The first few lines need to say what you're applying for, what your degree is, and what you aim to do. Let me not lie, these are mistakes that I made as well previously. I made bare mistakes applying for. If you see some of my applications for training contracts, even me, I will not employ myself. Like, sometimes I read some of them now, I'm just like, what was I thinking? Like, fam, no one cares about all of this stuff that you're writing, really and truly. Like, they really don't care. So sometimes I'm just like, wow, and I really expected them to give me a training contract. What was I doing? Anyways, so your cover letter needs to be very short and sweet, and you need to end it very nicely, like, you know, I look forward to hearing from you, blah blah blah. Read it from a perspective of, if I had a business and somebody's applying to my business, would I employ this person? That's how you have to see. You have to see it from a third person's perspective. Would I employ this person? And I had to go back and check my CV over and over again. Keep going back to your CV, read it over and over again. When you read it over and over again, like your CV and your cover letter, you'll realize that there might be some mistakes that you're picking up on, and you're like, why did I put that? Let me change it. Or you might find that one word, maybe you put a word and you think that another word might be better in that particular sentence. So always read over your CV. If you're struggling to find a job, make sure you're reading over your CV over and over again, and your cover letters as well. And also number 4. Number 4 is make sure you're applying to realistic roles. I cannot stress this enough. So many people go through a long term of unemployment because they're applying to managerial roles. But you're a graduate, you don't have experience, and you want to be a manager. How? Tell me how. Or you're a graduate and you're applying to band 7 roles. I'm sorry, but they're just gonna be like, are you lost? You need to apply to realistic roles. And I'm not gonna lie, that is something that I had to learn the hard way. When I finished uni, I think I was applying to, you know, law firms that were like international law firms, big law firms. I mean, they're not unachievable, but I feel like because I you know, I got a first class degree, yes I did, because I did not go to a top tier uni, so like the first 10 universities. It was hard for me to get a training contract in a top firm. The top firms are looking for people that went to top tier unis like Oxford, Cambridge, Warwick, all these big unis. Yeah, that's something that I regretted. I could have gone to a top tier uni and I didn't. If you haven't watched my video talking about me rejecting a scholarship, then you should watch that video because I explained a little bit more there. So yeah, that's number 4. Just make sure you're applying to realistic roles, roles that fits your status as a graduate. If you're applying for a role and they've asked you, oh, what salary are you looking at, Google it. Google the typical salary that the role would be for someone in your area. So don't expect too much and don't say too much. If they ask you, oh, so what salary are you looking, don't be giving them 40k 50k salary when you live in an area where the salary is like maybe between 25 to 30. Do you know what I mean? They'll just be thinking, oh, she's a bit unrealistic, ain't she? She's very hopeful, isn't she? That's what they'll be saying. And I'm not gonna lie, that is something that has happened to me before as well. I went to an interview and the man asked me, what is your, you know, your salary rate? What do you think we should offer you? And I'm like, yeah, 45k fam, because I deserve it. I have gone to uni, I've done all this work. Why shall I not be receiving 45k in my account? These times I had no experience, guys. I had no experience. I literally just came out of uni and I was broke. I didn't really have much to offer them, if I'm really honest. Obviously the knowledge was there because I did well at uni, but the experience wasn't there. I wasn't, you know, wasn't really in the working field yet, so I was there doing. Funny enough, they actually called me back for a second interview, but I think they did that because they knew that I knew what I was talking about. Like, they tried to challenge my knowledge and I gave it to them. But he did say that, oh, that's a bit, what was the word that he used? That's ambitious. When I said to him that I wanted 45k, he said I'm ambitious. I looked at him like, bruh. But yeah, so that is my my advice. Just make sure that the salary you're asking for is definitely within the range of, you know, life after uni can be very daunting, can be very stressful. I'm gonna talk about, I didn't want to talk too much about my actual work experiences, like different roles that I had, because I want to do that in another video. I went through so much, guys, honestly. Racism at work, employers being nasty to me, colleagues being nasty to me. Like, I went through so much at work before I got to the place that I'm at now, where I love going to work now. But my previous roles, my previous jobs that I had were horrible. So I'm definitely going to do another video talking about my experiences, and then I'll probably do another video, you know, about how to apply for jobs as well. And I'll also do another one talking about how to prepare for interviews as well. So those are the next 3 videos that I will be doing. Yeah, I hope you guys are looking forward to the videos, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If there's anything that I spoke about that you felt like I could elaborate on, please let me know. I try not to make these videos too long because I don't want them to be too boring. I want them to be short and informative. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.